Welcome to the Southern California Prep Insider Basketball Podcast. Devin, it's basketball season, so that means we need to bring in you. Devin, explain yourself a little bit for those who don't know.
I'm a guy who watches quite a bit of basketball, pretends to know a few things, but the jury's still out on that. But yeah, follow me on Twitter at Devin_Ugland. It's UGLAND. If you want updates on good games, some bad games, some obscure games, and anything of that nature. Just
all basketball in general, please follow Devin. He knows pretty much everything about anything. I would say any kid in the state. I'm going to go ahead and say that for you.
Yeah, no, NorCal.
NorCal, so
most of the top. I know most of the top guys there in San Diego. Obviously, we got Full-Time Hoops down there, who you guys do a good podcast with. I like to give him some hard times sometimes, but he's a good sport about it. But yeah, Full-Time Hoops is the guy in San Diego for sure.
All right, so just before we get to that, a new thing we have this year, we had it for football. If you weren't watching, we have some field reporters out there. We're going to start with, we're going to start with Jessica. I'm going to decide right now. We're starting with Jessica out in Great Oak. Jessica, take it away.
What's up, guys? Jessica here with Coach Hickey here at Great Oak High School, but more importantly, my former freshman year PE teacher.
That's right.
So that's something very exciting. Tommy, you'd like to know that for sure. But let's talk a little bit about this team now. The 2016-2017 season wasn't all that great here at Great Oak, but last year you guys shared the Southwestern League title with Temecula Valley. Did it very great last year. What did you guys really work on in this off season to ensure that you guys are really picking up where you finished last year?
Well, last year we were pretty senior dominant. We had 5 seniors that got a lot of the playing time, along with our captain this year, Tage Johnson. That was 6 of our pretty much 8-man rotation at the time. So although we do have some seniors this year, we're actually pretty young. We got 4 sophomores on varsity this year. We played about 25 games in the summer. Had a real strong schedule in the summer, and then we had about eight games in the fall where we played some really good competition. So we've always felt that stepping up the competition level would really prepare us for league, and that's kind of what we've done with the schedule this year. We're in the Battle Zone tournament in Corona at Centennial High School, and then we go down to San Marcos and play, and we're playing some open division teams this preseason, and we're a little inexperienced right now on the court, but we're growing and getting better.
Now, you say that you are a little inexperienced on the court, but CIF recently had you guys ranked at 4th in Division 2A. Now, what are your thoughts on that ranking and, Division 2A overall?
Rankings early in the season are tough. Basically, you're going off of what you've seen from people in the summer. Maybe that people have played, or teams have played a tournament maybe by now. But right now, it's a little bit harder to get accurate readings. I think once we get into January and we have more of a bigger sample size of games, that we'll be able to see really who the top teams are in the division. The division overall, I mean, all the divisions at the top are tough. I know that Colony was ranked #1, and I know they're a very good team. We played them in the summer at the very beginning, so I like our chances in the playoffs this year, but we're going to have to really grow here in these games in December.
Now, you guys have had a couple games under your belt. What are your thoughts on how the team has been performing so far?
Well, actually, we've only played a couple of games. We've only played 2 games. We played St. Bernard at Orange Lutheran High School last night, and super good. I know they have a player going to Long Beach State. They had a couple of really good guards, some shooters, but we battled. We did a really good job for our second game of the season, and I think that game is really going to show how good we're going to be, because our guys just worked so hard throughout the entire game, and we kept it pretty respectable.
You already did mention Tage a little bit, but who else are going to be a couple of standout players in this season?
Well, I mean, that's to be seen, I guess. We've got, like I said, we've got four sophomores. One of them is a 6'10". In Christian Bento. We've got our point guard, who you just interviewed, Jalen Punselin, and then we've got another sophomore, Damien Adami. We've got a returner in Dylan Ariza, who's a senior, and then we got Jezreel, obviously, who's a senior this year. So we've got a nice mix of younger and older guys. So I'm not sure. I know Tage as a 4-year varsity guy, he's going to be pretty consistent. We're looking to see who is going to kind of join him up there and kind of lead us through the season.
of course, you guys did share that Southwestern League title last year, but what does a successful 2018-2019 season look like for Great Oak this year?
As every year it does. Our goals are always to win the Southwestern League. That's our main goal every single season. We've done it 3 of the last 6 seasons. That 16-17 team was pretty young, kind of like we are here, but it set the table for the 17-18 season. So I think we have enough experience this year to be right up at the top of the league, and we'll just see what happens.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Now it's time to go to Beverly Fam at Esperanza.
Thanks, Tommy. It's basketball season now. Today I'm at Esperanza High School in Anaheim. The Aztecs finished 17-11 last season, including a win over number 3 ranked team in Orange County, Canyon High School, as well as a trip to the CIF playoffs. Let's see how they're doing. I'm here with Coach Mark Hill, head coach of Esperanza boys basketball. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Beverly, for coming and watching practice today.
This is your 17th season as head coach of boys basketball team here at Esperanza. What do you think has been your biggest takeaway?
Well, I mean, for me, over the 17 years, the community's pretty much been the same for me. I really enjoy this school. It's been a great place not only to coach basketball, but to teach also. So I've just enjoyed seeing this community grow, and obviously seeing all these kids come up since they're knee-high to a grasshopper and coming up through high school. So.
What would you say is special about the community of Esperanza?
We have great school spirit, and the kids are really close, especially now that we split with Yorba Linda High School. It's really catapulted into a great rivalry between us, 2 schools, promoted a lot of school pride for us, and of course we're a lot smaller now. We're about 1,600 students, where we used to be about 3,300. So you kind of know the kids a little bit more when it's only 1,600 kids. So.
You're only 13 wins away from 300 wins here at Esperanza. What does that mean to you?
It means I'm old, number one. But it means I've had a lot of good players and a lot of good help, a lot of good assistant coaches. I've been blessed to have, a couple of great assistant coaches during my time here. So it's really, a team effort in all regards. Booster Club, we have to raise probably about $40,000 a year. So it's a team effort in all respects between the parents, the players, and of course the coaching staff.
Your team won a state championship 2 years ago. What was that experience like?
Well, I hate to say it, but it's probably a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Being a public school, that was like the first time in 23 years a public school in Orange County has won a state championship. So, but that was a special group of kids that, obviously grew up together since 3rd and 4th grade. And we had a couple of great players on that team, especially one that's starting at Stanford right now. But to experience that was something special for not only me, for the school, and I'm getting toward the end of my career. I don't know if that opportunity is going to come again, but obviously I relish the time that I had coaching that team over the years. So.
You have a lot of talented starters returning. What would you say are the keys to success for the team this year?
Well, I think, this year we have a lot of experience back, and we do have, a lot of depth for us is at the guard position. So we're a little bit on the shorter side this year, but that's okay. I just really feel for us this year, it's just about defending and rebounding is really going to be a key for us, because other than that, we handle the ball well, we shoot the ball well, but those 2 key areas. And I think, for us right now, we're 3-2. But we're going to be a much different team by the end of the year. This is a team that's got a high ceiling to it, and it's going to keep improving as the year goes on. So what you see today is not what you're going to see at the end of the year. We're going to be a much improved basketball team by then. And we have to be. Our league is so tough. We have number 4 Villa Park in our league, number 7 Canyon, and that's the wars of the Crestview League. It's the best public school league here in Orange County, and so but we're used to that. We're used to the challenge of that, and I feel confident we'll be up for the challenge as well.
Thank you so much again for joining us, Coach, and we look forward to seeing the team play this year.
Okay. Thank you, Beverly.
All right, thank you very much, Beverly. We'll go to Connor now at Rolling Hills Prep.
Thank you, Tommy. I'm here at the Oak Street Gym in Torrance with Vaughn Flowers of Rolling Hills Prep. Vaughn, 4-1 start for you guys so far this year. I know you're a little bit banged up, but how would you evaluate the early season for RHP?
We're looking good. We're going to work on defense, and our offense is clicking, and I think we should be good throughout the season.
The last 2 years, you're a junior, so the last 2 years you've tasted so much success. State championship, Southern Section championship as a freshman. Last year, a Southern Section championship. What needs to happen for you guys to make it 3 for 3 with the Southern Section championships?
I think we just defense and then playing as a team and then keeping the ball on offense. Then we should be good. And just defense is key.
Coach Catani is one of the most legendary coaches in all of Southern California. How much fun and how helpful is it when you're working with him every day?
It's really fun. He makes me work harder and pushes me to my max. I love it.
Who are some teams on the schedule? Mater Dei comes to mind that you're really looking forward to playing, and it's going to be a very tough game, whoever it is.
I'm looking for that Mater Dei the most probably, but I'm trying to play on Saturday against maybe Brentwood, because last year we lost to them, so I want to play.
Yeah, have you debuted yet this year, or have you been out for a little bit?
I played the first game against Notre Dame, then I played against Sarah, but then I got hurt in the first quarter, so yeah.
What was that Notre Dame game like, going up against two really highly rated recruits in Zaire Williams and Julian Rishwain?
It was difficult, but I liked the matchup. Could have came out with a win, but next time.
What have you done in the offseason to improve your game?
I put up lots of shots, worked on my ball handling, defense, worked out, lift weights. So I've been practicing the whole junior year.
How would you assess the team chemistry with this group? Do you guys feel like you're all pretty close?
Yeah, I think we're all really good friends on the team, so we have good chemistry.
Looking to the last couple of years, so Division 5 2 years ago, Division 4 a year ago, this year Division 3, you've been a part of this rise and building this program. What does it mean to you?
It means a lot to me. I loved it. First year, I was scared coming as a freshman, but now I love playing. I help my younger guys, so good.
What will a successful junior season look like for Vaughn Flowers?
It's helping my team win. Like I don't care about points at all. I just want to help my team win. That's whatever I need to do.
What are some of your favorite memories from your time here at Rolling Hills Prep?
When we went to Canada, that was a fun experience. And even though we didn't get the championship, it was just a fun experience and going out there.
Vaughn, the last question for you. As you've moved now to an upperclassman, having more of a leadership role, what have you told some of the younger guys on this team to help prepare them for practices with coach and games against tough opponents like Notre Dame?
Keep working and listen to coach because he knows what he's talking about. And then if you do that, then you'll get your time to play.
That's Vaughn Flowers. Vaughn, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Devin, thoughts on Flowers and the rest of the Rolling Hills Prep team?
You know, Vaughn Flowers has come a long way as an individual player as far as his ball skills, and he's always been a pretty good shooter, but he's starting to be more of a creator off the dribble, which has opened up a lot more offense for Coach Catani. And he's got, multiple good players down there. JT Tan's a great forward, one of the most skilled guys in the paint in Southern California. Chris Kuhn does a little bit of everything at 6'5", smooth lefty shooter with a high basketball IQ. And they have a freshman there, Benny the Jet Geeler. He's one of the most unafraid freshmen I've ever seen at the varsity level. He scores in bunches, and sometimes he takes bad shots, but he makes some big shots, so you can live with it. Coach Catani really likes what he brings.
Benny the Jet there. So, Devin, I know it's early in the season, so this is definitely going to change. So give us your top 10 teams in the Southern Section as of right now.
So as of right now, number one, we're going to go with Sierra Canyon. Obviously, Cassius Stanley, KJ Martin, Scottie Pippen Jr. I mean, they're just loaded with talent. Number two, Rancho Christian, the Mobley brothers, Jordan Montgomery, Luke Turner. They won the Battle Zone tournament on Saturday, which was a great tournament. I was there. Bunch of great games. Number three is going to be St. John Bosco. I really think St. John Bosco has enough depth to field like 3 varsity starting lineups that can compete in any public school league in Southern California, honestly. Number 4 is Fairfax. They won the Redondo Union Rise Williams Pac Shores tournament, and then they won the Rose City tournament at Maranatha this past weekend. Number 5, Westchester. They won their own tournament, the Trevor Ariza Tip-Off Classic, on Saturday over Bishop Montgomery. Saturday over Bishop Montgomery. Jordan Brinson, Jeremiah Turley, and Kaylin Allen got a 5th year of eligibility through the city section, so that's a huge come up for them. Number 6, Bishop Montgomery. They're battling some injuries right now. Gianni Hunt got injured in the first game of the Pac Shores tournament and hasn't played since. Nick Schrader, another important senior, got injured in the championship game against Fairfax of that Pac Shores tournament. So they stumbled a little bit, but, I mean, you lose 2 starters, it's going to be tough. Number 7, Corona Centennial. They lost to Rancho Christian in the Battle Zone Championship, and they're very good. I mean, they speed you up. DJ Davis is a great scorer. Jalen Clark is super versatile, and Paris Dawson brings a whole lot of toughness to that team. Number 8, Mater Dei. Haven't seen much of them yet. They've played a couple one-off games, one at home against El Toro, 2 up in Santa Barbara, and they lost to Whitney Young of Chicago, which is the best team in that city, by 6 on Saturday at the Chicago Elite Classic. Number 9 is Etowanda. I just love, kind of their depth and the way they defend and just kind of their approach to the game. And number 10, Chino Hills, Onyeka Okongwu is just a monster in the middle.
All right, so there's your top 10. So who are some players that we should be watching out for coming up here in the season?
I mean, I mentioned a whole lot of them in the top 10, so I kind of screwed up our player thing. But some of the guys, I mean, obviously I mentioned the Mobley brothers, Big O over at Chino Hills, Cassius Stanley, and all those guys at Sierra Canyon. So some other guys, Josh Christopher at Mayfair. Every time you watch him play, he's going to put on a show. Jake Kyman at Santa Margarita, Max Agbonkpolo at Santa Margarita, staying in the Trinity League, Devin Askew at Mater Dei, Wilhelm Bradenbach at Mater Dei. I like Ian Martinez down at J. Sarah. They're going to be pretty good this year. Some more obscure guys, I guess. Alex Misha at West Torrance. He's off to a really good start. Jacob Alamadun at Marina is going to put up massive numbers. A good sophomore down at Fountain Valley is Jeremiah Davis. St. John Bosco has Jonathan Salazar, Christian James. I mean, there are just so many good players in this area this year. Etowanda has Jemiah Mashak, Brantley Stevenson, Cameron Pierce. I mean, we have a lot of good players, a lot of good talent everywhere in any region of Southern California.
And yeah, when you mention the guys from the smaller schools, those are the guys who put up video game numbers at some point this year because they don't have to play against the competition. So who do you, I know I didn't prep you on this, so throwing you a complete crazy question here. Who do you think is the kid who's going to have the craziest numbers just based on how good he is compared to the competition he's going to have to play?
Craziest numbers. I think Joseph Octavi at Mary Star of the Sea. He's been putting up massive numbers since he was a freshman. Judah Brown at Pacifica Christian. He's obviously a highly recruited guy, but you're 6'7", playing in the lower division, lower league that he's playing in. He should have massive numbers. Those are the 2 guys that really stand out right now. The smaller school guys who are going to put up huge scoring numbers.
Yeah, I always like to see the smaller school guys getting a chance. They go to their school for the school. And they just happen to be really good at basketball as well. So we'll be with you all year long. We're going to have game predictions coming up later, but it's a little too early for that. Devin, one more time, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter mostly at Devin_Ublin.
All right, perfect. We will see you all next week with more of the same.